Have you ever heard of diabetes? Do you know someone or maybe a loved one who suffers from it? Do you know what diabetes is? Diabetes is a common disease that now 34.2 million people in the U.S. have diabetes. In 2018, an estimated 1.5 million new cases of diabetes were diagnosed among U.S. adults aged 18 years or older. My girlfriend suffers from type 1 diabetes. She was born with it and lives with it to this day. Her life is a constant struggle to keep a hold of her diabetes. She is possibly the strongest person I know to be able to hassle with this. That is why I'm speaking on this matter. In 2017, the total estimated cost of diagnosed diabetes in the U.S. was $327 billion. Diabetes is not only a disease that affects people physically, but financially. Recently, to help fix this problem, the state of Virginia passed a bill called HB 66. This bill should help people with diabetes that are insulin dependent, that will reduce the insurance copay for insulin to $30 for a 30-day supply. Before I talk more into detail, I will explain what I will be talking about today. First, I will explain what diabetes is and what causes it and what other types of diabetes are there and explain them. Second, I will talk about how this disease affects the body and what can result from that. Third, I will talk about the rising question on how to cure it and what progress we have made to find one. What is diabetes? Do any of you know? How about what causes it? Or how many different types of diabetes are there? Diabetes is a disease that occurs when your blood glucose or blood sugar is too high, but it can also be too low. Insulin, a hormone made by the pancreas, helps glucose from food get into your cells to be used for energy. Sometimes your pancreas doesn't make enough insulin or any. That is what mainly diabetes is and the most common reason what causes it. Sometimes people's bodies cannot process food normally and causes imbalances in the bloodstream. There are three main types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, which can develop at any age but occurs most frequently in children and adolescents. When you have type 1 diabetes, your body produces very little or no insulin, which means that you need daily insulin injections to maintain blood glucose levels under control. Type 2 diabetes is more common in adults and accounts for around 90% of all diabetes cases. When you have type 2 diabetes, your body does not make good use of the insulin that it produces. The cornerstone of type 2 diabetes treatment is a healthy lifestyle, including increased physical activity and a healthy diet. However, over time, most people with type 2 diabetes will require oral drugs and/or insulin to keep their blood glucose levels under control. Gestational diabetes is a type of diabetes that consists of high blood glucose during pregnancy and is associated with complications to both mother and child. GDM usually appears after pregnancy, but women affected and their children are at increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes later in life. This disease poses many threats and illness to the body. Diabetes is a disease that not only attacks the blood glucose levels, it affects other parts of the body. A list of these are eyes. Your eyes can be at risk to many illnesses like blurred to loss of vision and others like cataracts or glaucoma. Your kidneys. The kidneys can develop into kidney disease due to increased protein in the urine, where the body cannot process the protein into glucose. Heart and brain. All people with diabetes have an increased chance for heart disease and strokes. Heart disease is the major cause of death in people with diabetes. The feet. High blood sugars can lead to poor blood flow and nerve damage. This can lead to slow healings of sores. Diabetics can experience severe pain, but you can also lose feeling in your feet. In serious cases, this may lead to amputation or your toes, foot, or leg. The nervous system. High blood sugars can affect all of the nerve endings in your body, which can cause many problems. Neuropathy. This is a disorder of the nervous system that can affect people with diabetes. There are different forms of neuropathy. two of them are peripheral neuropathy, which is damage to the peripheral nervous system, and automatic type 1 that causes damage to the nerves of the internal organs. These illnesses pose a great threat to diabetics. There are ways to prevent these, but everyone knows the answer for that. Proper exercise and a good healthy way of eating helps so much, even though one might not realize it. If you are or going to be a diabetic, that is the best advice I can give you. Ever since diabetes has risen as an epidemic, the world has tried to find answers to eliminate or even prevent any type of diabetes. In an article by Philip Evans, he states, it has been suggested by some that the bariatric surgery is a pancreas for type 2 diabetes, and that it is now possible to cure the core defects that lead to the condition. He also stated that other researchers have just suggested that intensive lifestyle intervention can bring about partial remission of type 2 diabetes. There are many ways people are discovering that could lead to either a treatment or a cure for diabetes. Some of these are clinical research, which are encapsulation research, which is giving people insulin producing cells that are protected from immune attack. 2. Regeneration research, getting the body to grow new insulin producing cells. 3. Immune therapy research, which is retraining the immune system to stop attacking insulin producing cells. Clinical research for the cure has progressed over years and will continue so till they can perfect the research. What would you say if I told you that there actually already was a cure before these researchers were thought of? There was a man named Dr. Gerson. He created a treatment called the Gerson therapy. The Gerson therapy is a natural treatment that activates the body's extraordinary ability to heal itself through an organic plant-based diet, raw juices, coffee enemas, and natural supplements. With this whole body approach to healing, the Gerson therapy naturally reactivates your body's magnificent ability to heal itself with no damaging side effects. This is a powerful natural treatment that boosts the body's own immune system to heal cancer, arthritis, heart disease, and allergies, and many other degenerative diseases. Dr. Max Gerson developed the Gerson therapy in the 1930s, initially as a treatment for his own migraines, and eventually as a treatment for degenerative diseases such as skin tuberculosis, diabetes, and most famously cancer. There are many people trying different ways to find a treatment for a cure for diabetes. The Gerson therapy may or may not work, or even the clinical research I talked about earlier. In the end, a cure will eventually be found and released. Diabetes is a problem. It is easy to develop it, but some are born with it. If we cannot find something for these unfortunate people, in my personal opinion, we could be facing an epidemic worse than the Black Plague. With this information you have discovered with me, I hope that in the future, or even now, if you know or meet someone with diabetes, that you now understand their struggle and can show that you care. Diabetes is a problem like no other. In my information covered, I talked about what diabetes is and what causes it, along with what other types of diabetes are there. Second, I covered how this disease affects the body and what can result from that. And finally, I talked about the cure for diabetes and what progress has been made for the disease. In the end, I hope I leave now with new information about diabetes if you did not already know it. Please be aware of your own health and your loved ones. This is a disease that causes many struggles.